Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the instant match reaction. Everton have been beaten 2-1 by West Ham United in what was a pretty awful game at the London Stadium. But in the end, West Ham just had enough in injury time to get the win, even though we had got it back to 1-1. Yeah, awful game. Listen, I don't know whether that's Europe over with, but when you look at the next fixture, it seems like it's going to be very, very tough. We'd have to win 3 in a row, the final 3 games. So, but we've done it to ourselves. So let's be honest. Last minute last week and in injury time this week. Today, I squarely put the blame on the manager. I very rarely say that, but I do. I put the blame on the manager. I think he sent the team out looking so negative. We were so negative, and it showed in the second half when he made the changes. When we went 1-0 down, that we could have destroyed them. We just played within ourselves. It was embarrassing to watch us at times. The way we set up, it was so one-paced. It was really, really poor today. And that has to go down to the manager, doesn't it? That has to go down on the manager for today. We needed to be more aggressive because they're not a good... No, what the worst thing about it is West Ham aren't a good side, and we've took 1 point off them this season. That's horrendous. But if we'd started with a little bit more and gone after them, then I think we would have won the game without any issues. Tariq George should have started it. McNeil should never have started this game. He should never have started this game. In no world should McNeil have started today's game. The manager needed to freshen her up a little bit. He needed to be a little bit more aggressive, and especially with Barry up front playing, who isn't aggressive. You needed a little bit of aggression in the forward line or the wide area. And for me, that was Tariq George. And I think the manager just got that wrong today, because I watched West Ham on Monday night and they were dreadful, and they weren't much better today. We just allowed them to get into a couple of more dangerous areas, because they only really had 2 or 3 opportunities. You know, one from the set piece that they score from, and the winning goal comes from a non-existing cross that Michalenko should be dealing with and completely gets on the wrong side of the defender. And of course, Callum Wilson is in the right place at the right time. He always is against Everton. But we were set up completely wrong. And, you know, this is where I think obviously lots of people will come out and have a go at David Moyes for it. And you know, it doesn't mean he needs to be sacked. It doesn't mean that we should get Iriola in and all this kind of stuff. But it does allow people to come in and, you know, put the other point of view across, which is fine. No problem with that at all. But we just there was no aggression. It was like a pre-season game. It was like we already knew that we weren't going to be in Europe. And that's what disappointed me. We needed to bounce back from the disappointment of last week, because last week wasn't a terrible performance. It was just obviously the last few minutes that cost us. And I thought, you know, the goal we went down to, the first half was terrible for both teams, absolutely terrible. There was no real anything put in from either sides. And the second half, we needed to come out. I'd have took McNeil off at half time and changed it and gone, right, it's half time, let's go after the second half. But he didn't. Barry could have come off, but who would he have come off for? But we should have gone after them, and we didn't. And something was bound to happen. And they put a cross in the box, and Pickford saves it, and then he goes into the lad, and it's the VAR. And then we just seem to lose our concentration. And then they've put the set piece in that. How many times have we seen that set piece this year? Barry doesn't screen like he didn't screen last week. Taki can't get up. And I think maybe Michael Keane should have been on Souček, because I think Michael Keane's a better header of the ball. And it's 1-0. Pickford doesn't come off his line, and he never comes off his line, and it has been a major issue this season because he just doesn't come off his line. We know he's not going to come off his line, and we do defend for that, but that is an issue that he doesn't come off his line for set pieces. I think now and again it would be nice to see him just come out and try and punch the ball away, but he doesn't. He's on his line, and there's no point being on your line if someone's heading the ball out from 3 yards, like we've seen for this goal and like we saw for the goal last week. There is no point in the goalkeeper is never saving anything from that range. If it's on target, it's going in. There is literally no point in the goalkeeper. We've seen it so many times this season. So maybe that's where something has to change, where the goalkeeper starts coming out and trying to punch the ball. It's happened far too many times this season. Far too many times. And that's 1-1. And then he makes the changes. And the changes worked. He brought Tim Erabunam on. He put James Garner at right back in. And it worked. We got going. And let's be honest. Well, first of all, we have the Barry header, which is a great ball from George. George was excellent again when he came on. It's a great ball. Should Barry score? Well, in one way, you could say it's a great save by Souček. Barry should really be scoring no matter what. You know, I said earlier this season when Beto missed the one against Palace, that luckily enough we scored from, that any striker should be scoring from there, and he should be scoring. Any striker should be scoring when the ball's on your head from a yard out. And then one of the maddest decisions I've ever seen on a football pitch, and basically just you might as well just bin VAR. You might as well just get rid of VAR after this, because how a player can punch a ball out, can use his hand to move a ball that a player is trying to control, is I've never seen the likes of it. I just thought he'd get a message in his ear and that'd be the end of it. It's handball. It's a penalty. It's a massive cop-out again of just coming up with an alternative thing that no one's ever heard of. Like an alternative reason for it not to be a handball. Like, we didn't even get a corner. That's the maddest thing. We didn't even get a corner. It's just, we'll just ignore it. It like the last couple of weeks for us, certainly, and we know it's happened before, it's basically like sticking your fingers in your ears and just going blah, 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 blah. It's just, again, that does not happen in a big game. It does not happen last week, Manchester City versus Arsenal. It does not happen if it happens in the semi-final. That's kicking off now. It does not happen. The lad has punched the ball out. It doesn't matter what he was trying to do. He has taken the ball off Tierno Barry. It is absolutely mental that you can just wave that away. The referee has not seen it. And that's fair enough. You don't expect the referee to see everything, but the referee has not seen it. It is absolutely mental decision. It's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in the football with VAR. It is absolutely just different level of corruption, that decision. And they genuinely just come up with some mad alternative, last week it was coming together, and this week it's there's both scuffling. No, one of the fellas has punched the ball out with his hand. The same way that when we played Wolves in the season and the lad shot and Dewsbury Hall's got his arm up and it hits his arm. The same way that on the first game of the season, when Taki leans into it, it's given a penalty. It's just absolutely mad how they are now just changing that everyone's perception of what the rules are and what football is. You know, we've seen it early on in the season where if it just hits your hand, it's a penalty. It is absolutely crazy. I just, I don't, I can't explain to anybody. Like, and I don't know of any. It just can't be explained how these decisions are not given. It's absolutely mad, absolutely mad. And let's like I'm not going to go overboard about it as in a decision that affected the game because not long after we equalise. But when you're watching football now and you're seeing these decisions, you just think, what's the point? What is the point anymore? They brought this thing in to help football, and it's just completely made a mess of it. It's just made a mess of it. Like, what's the point of wondering if every goal that goes in is a goal? If when you've got these decisions, like it just doesn't tally up. We might as well just get rid of it completely, so we don't have to worry about whether it's a goal or not. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. As someone who's been watching football for before VAR and now, it just doesn't make any sense, and they just keep on coming up with these words. Just keep coming up with these explanations that you've never heard before. Like when Liverpool got the offside goal at Fulham. Oh, we've got a 5 centimetre rule that has never been used before. Last week it was a coming together. Well, it's mad how coming together started being used on fouls that they just don't want to give. And today they've come up with a mad explanation of why he hasn't given it. It just doesn't make any sense. And all it does is makes people irate because before VAR came in, you'd see that and go, when VAR comes in, that'll solve that. We won't have situations like that. And that's what I just can't fathom out. There's always some like mad. The rules are now almost like so flexible that everything can be explained away. It's mad. It genuinely is just crazy. Everything is just like everything is bendable now to the point where it doesn't break. And it just makes you fucking sick of it. Really just makes you go, what's the point? Like, what is the point of football anymore? Like, in the bigger scale of things. Like, honestly, it just blows my mind, and I'm sure everyone's the same. It just makes you think, what is the point anymore? Um, it's just crazy. It is just crazy. But Everton did get us. We did get ourselves back in the game. Great cross, good knockdown by I think it was Toffee, and a brilliant goal by Keane Dewsbury Hall. And then they put it up for 8 minutes. And I must admit, I know everyone, I'm sure, was like 8 minutes, great, but I was thinking there's a sting in the tail here because it was almost like just read the room. And we just sort of stopped playing. We sort of stopped playing in that moment. We didn't really continue. It was like 8 minutes was too long for us. Or there was like flashbacks of last week or something. And it's one stupid cross into the box. We haven't dealt with it. Miko gets the wrong side. It just falls into the box and it's just there, isn't it? It's just there and it's an open goal. And yeah, shite is the only word I can say. We've thrown it away within 2 weeks. Any chance of getting Europe, really. And it'll come down, what's mad is it'll come down to just a few points. It'll come down to like we'll miss out by like one win or something. And that's what makes it frustrating, is that I do understand that the way, don't get me wrong, I totally understand the way Moyes sets us up. Moyes sets us up for away games and we've won. We've been set up like today and won games. I totally understand that. But I just think today we needed to start on the right. I just thought we're playing against a team that are terrified, that aren't a good side, because they're not. They're not a good side, but they needed to win today. And that little extra bit of need and playing at home has got them the win, ultimately. Because when what I was worried about was when it went into 1-1 in injury time. I was thinking these need to win this, so they're not bothered. They're willing to risk everything. Whereas we weren't willing to risk everything, and that's what's caught us. That's what's caught us. But we should have, if we'd started in the right manner, we'd have had that game dead and buried. So we've thrown it away, and it is that mentality thing. It's that mentality thing of not being able to go for games. But there you go. And listen, we lack quality. It's nice that it wasn't. I tell you what, though, it was nice to see. It was nice to see Tim Irabunum come on and make a real positive change. He had the one where he squared it, and Tieno Barry couldn't do anything with it. It was nice to see George come on and make such a difference as well. And hopefully that's food for thought for the manager. We've all bemoaned the subs. Everyone's bemoaned the subs. We really did miss Beto today, and I think we really missed that quality of Branthwaite at the back as well. But it is what it. I just think if you set up in such a negative way, if you set up in a like you're not going to go for them, that you're not going to go after them, then that's on the manager. And I just thought we did that today. It was too easy. It was too easy. It was just they had to step up, and we didn't look like we did have to step up. And if the season peters out, then it is on those fine margins. It really is. We're in, I think we're 11th now. We're in the bottom. You know, we're in mid-table, but difficult game coming up a week on Monday. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's crap. I'm to be honest today. I mean, yeah, the penalty was just mad, but I'm more annoyed at just the way we approached the game. Just more annoyed. Of how we've approached that game and how we've just let a team as bad as West Ham just, yeah. I'll be honest, when we've been in that situation, I would love someone to have come to our ground and played with that kind of level of intensity, and I'm sure they probably did. But yeah, but I do think that the people who are like Moyes out in the comments it's just absolute nonsense as well. Though I think he's a fucking mental as well, but that's fair enough. There you go. Right, I am going to do my player ratings. So stick around. This video will take you straight to that video. So don't go anywhere, and I'll be straight back with my player ratings. See you in a minute.